What's going on? This is the AskASwimPro show, and I'm joined by a special guest. We are here with Erika Braun of North Carolina Masters. How are you?
I'm great. Just finished the 50 free today. First day competing at FINA. Really excited.
How did the 50 go? Walk us through it.
Yeah, so I have had like a lot of different trial and error with my breath in the 50. And earlier this summer, I was practicing taking one breath, and so I decided to just give it all I had and do a no breather today and just see where it took me, and I was pretty happy with it.
So you did the whole 50 no breath?
Yeah, no breath. Yeah.
And how many is that rare for you, or was that really a big?
So when I was training in 2012, I just did the 50 with no breath, and then I kind of started to get away from it, thinking that I needed to take that breath because I was kind of sputtering out at the end of my 50. But then in practice last week, I got a little bit more confident in practicing it, and when I take my breath, I seem to take like a big breath, and it kind of stops me in my tracks.
Okay.
So even though it's painful, I just gut it out, and I think that's probably best for me. So we'll see.
Awesome. So no breath 50s. I like
I
it.
don't recommend that in the 100. So,
no, you got to breathe in the 100.
Got to breathe in the 100.
So let's rewind a little bit. Tell us about your swimming background. Like, how'd you get into swimming? I know you took a break and then you came back. So start from childhood swimming. Walk us through it.
So I actually got a lot later start with swimming. I was a gymnast, and not a very good one, but thought I wanted to be the next Nadia Comaneci. So I got to be pretty tall as a 12-year-old, and it wasn't a good fit because I'm 5'10" now. So I decided to start up swimming when I was 12 and found early success in the pool. It was kind of a natural with my height, my big feet, and all of that. And swam my first junior nationals when I was 14, and qualified for the Olympic trials when I was 16, the 50, and really had a great time swimming high school in Minnesota. So I was kind of all over, grew up in Indiana, had my age group experience there. Was fortunate to get a scholarship at the University of Georgia to swim, and with school and my focus elsewhere, only ended up swimming about a year and a half at Georgia, but continued my education, graduated, and was out of the pool for 12 years, in between age 20 and 32 when I started Masters.
And so when you got back into Masters swimming, what was your goal when you got back into the pool? Was it to be super competitive or just for fitness, or?
Yeah, so I was always kind of doing something athletic, and I was running and biking, and a friend of mine said, well, you should do a triathlon because you used to swim. So I decided to get back into swimming, looked up Raleigh Area Masters, and started practicing with them. A month and a half later, I did my first meet in Charlotte at the Charlotte Sunbelt, and I never ended up doing the triathlon. So I just fell back in love with swimming and has been, my love ever since.
Was it always the 50 freestyle is like your focus, or was it any other events?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a sprinter, so that's kind of been a mainstay for me. But butterfly, any 50, 100, 100 IM, short, I'll do some backstroke. I'm doing the 200 back tomorrow, which pray for me.
Different than the 50, different than the 50 freestyle, different strokes.
Yeah, so with the venue here, we're allowed to swim 5 individual events and only 2 a day. So I wanted to get my 5 events in, and I was like, okay, we'll try a 200 back.
200 backstroke.
See how it goes. Yeah.
And if we fast forward to 2012, so you're really competitive at that point. Walk us through, what was your training schedule like? You qualified for the Olympic trials.
Yeah.
Walk us through all that.
Yeah, so I think it was in 2010 at the Masters Nationals in Atlanta, where we got to wear the long suits, and we got the buoyancy.
The tech suits.
So
tech suit world.
That kind of got us up racing in the water. But that was the first time where my times actually were best lifetime times.
Lifetime best.
Yeah, lifetime best. So I was swimming faster then that I was in college. So that kind of got me motivated. Somebody had mentioned, the Olympic trials, and I didn't even know what the standard was. So I looked up the cut, and actually Marlins of Raleigh, they're a local USA team, practices in the winter long course at NC State. So Paul Silver was very kind to take me under his wing and let me practice long course with their age group team. And so I started doing a lot of the Tier Pro Series at the time. They were the Grand Prix Series. So just kept doing as many long course meets that I could in 2012, and kept getting really, really close to the time standard. Was like within 7 100s, 5 100s, 2 100s. Like I kept just like
you're 2 100s off the cut.
2 100s, like in a 50, and I just kept trying and trying, and literally I missed it a couple hundredths. And went on vacation with my family. This was 2 months before trials.
Okay.
And we went to Jamaica, and I thought, okay, probably not going to happen, you know, but I didn't want to miss the family vacation. Came back the next week at a UNC meet, and it was just kind of relaxed, didn't have a lot of stress because I was just, you know,
just on vacation.
Doing a meet. And then that's when I actually hit the qualifying time. So
it was
kind of like when you take off the pressure and just let it happen, then, you know.
Yeah.
And I went under the time by like a tenth or so.
So you're super tapered.
Yeah,
best education, super tapered.
So yeah, we call it the Jamaica Taper.
So that was your best time?
That was,
your best time.
Best time, best lifetime.
And you're still, and you've broken a ton of world records, FINA Masters World Records. How many world records are you on?
I don't know.
A lot, too many world records to count. So like what keeps you so hungry and like on point? Because a lot of people, they'll get competitive and then they fall off.
Yeah.
And so we're here at Pan Am's and you're still dropping fast time. So what keeps you on so focused?
Just the love of the sport and the camaraderie of my teammates. So like we're excited to be here. Our North Carolina team is trying to go for a world record in our mixed medley relay.
Okay,
so just to have something as a team, you know, as a group of 4 to go for, you know, just to kind of set new goals. So, you know, my goal may not be to make the Olympic trials cut in, you know, for 2020, but like I always like to have a goal that I'm working toward, whether it be, you know, a different stroke or a different event, you know, just something new to work toward, or just, you know, trying new techniques. So
what advice do you have for people who swam, they took a 10 to 20 year break, and then now they're either they just got back into it or they're looking to get back into it? What advice do you have?
So I would say that find a group of people that you really enjoy having fun with, that, you know, there's a good coaching program in place, you know, to not just go on it at your own, because you kind of lose the motivation if you don't have somebody that's really focused on keeping you driven. Like our coach, he will, you know, take our 50 splits. I mean, he is really, you know, it keeps us honest with ourselves, because you've got somebody standing over you, you know, yelling out your times if you're having, you know, a tough day and, you know, you really don't want to push that last 50. Well, JP's going to get that time, and, you know, you don't want to let him down. But just, you know, being motivated to have a really fun group. And, you know, things have changed, so be open to new techniques. You know, the way we swim, the way we start and dive are totally different than how I learned, and just, you know, be open to try new things.
Do you think that's contributed to helping you go lifetime best 20 years after college? Like what? So like people are like, how are you going faster? It doesn't seem reasonable. Like, are you just training smarter, paying attention to other things?
Absolutely. I mean, I used to swim the 50 with like my head straight up and just like, you know, like really, really fast turnover, you know, short stroke. Now we're really focused on, you know, being as long as you possibly can in the stroke. Obviously, I want to still have that really high tempo, but it's important that you get that really great catch in the stroke now. Before, we just wanted to turn over, as much as we could. So, you know, just there's so much more that we know about the sport technically. I mean, back then we did a lot of drills, but, you know, I think just as the sport has evolved, it's just, you know, and actually seeing the kids and, you know, the people who are leading the sport getting faster and faster, you know, it just kind of like, even though we'll never be there in their spot, it's just kind of really motivating to see what they can do and to try new things, like, you know, seeing, you know, Caleb Dressel in his underwaters when you start. I mean, like
17, no big deal.
Oh my gosh, just so fast underwater. But, you know, we didn't learn underwaters when we were kids. I mean, that was new, so.
And now women go 21, no problem in the NCAA, and men are going 18.
Yeah, it's amazing.
What do you think when you see those times? Is it like, I'm happy I'm not swimming against them right now, or like what? I mean, or is it motivating? How do you look at those times?
I mean, I think it's so inspiring. You know, what really inspires me is when you see like these 80-year-olds that are still swimming, and you know, and to see how fit they are in their mind, in their bodies, and in what they can do. I mean, that's really what's inspiring to me. I mean, you know, I love watching what our USA team is doing in the water and just getting inspiration from them. But you really kind of have to, when you get to be a master swimmer, just kind of focus on you know, your own kind of area of what your personal goals are. You don't want to compare yourself to, you know, Manuel Simone, you know, just like that's not in my realm. But
not gonna beat Simone, but she can inspire us.
Yeah, absolutely. She's amazing.
I'm curious, what does your current like training routine look like today? Like, how much of it is out of water training, in water training? How important is the nutrition aspect?
So I work full time at Golden Corral, and the director of HR. So we have a busy schedule and travel some, but ultimately I swim mornings, Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning. Long course at the Triangle Aquatic Center, and then with my Raleigh Area Masters team Saturday and Sunday mornings for an hour and a half, and then I have a weight coach, Wade Harris, that I do a lot of really kind of high impact, dynamic kind of weight work, and so you know, it's a good combination. What I have to kind of manage sometimes is recovery.
Oh,
you know, as an older athlete, and then you know, nutrition, you know, is a big key.
How important is nutrition? Like, are you? Is it hydration? Is it stuff? I mean, what are you doing?
So I used to think that you couldn't eat before you swam. Like when I would go to some of these like longer meets, like I thought, oh, my stomach's going to be too sensitive to get, you know, to have something in my stomach, and that was a big mistake. I mean, what I've learned is that you really have to fuel and you know, make sure you're consistent with your nutrition. You know, lots of hydration all throughout the day. You know, at work I've got a bottle of water next to me, but you know, fruits and vegetables, good protein, fish and seafood. I mean, before a meet, I love a big steak, so like love that protein. I'm personally not a big carb loader before meets, but I mean, the protein is for me is probably more important. So
I mean, nutrition is super important. What I guess like looking forward, so we're at U.S. Well, it's not U.S. Pan American Masters Championships in Orlando. What's your next big meet? Like, how do you approach your schedule?
So I just kind of look at with long course, and so for Masters, world records can only be attained long course meters and short course meters.
Right.
So in the U.S., there's very few opportunities to race short course meters. Just you know, trying to figure out you know what works with my schedule, my teammates' schedule, because whenever we want to try to go to these meets, we often want to try to do relays. It is so hard to get 4 adults, professional, working with families to be able to actually one weekend and swim together. So that's like a big accomplishment. So I think what we're going to do is probably come down to the Rowdy short course meters.
Meet. At this pool, right?
So at this pool right here. So that'll be a lot of fun.
And then I guess like longer term, where do you see your goals? Like, do you always want to be really solid at the 50? Do you want to diversify with other events? I mean, how do you approach that?
So, I mean, I'm just kind of, I guess, I'm a drop dead sprinter, but I'm trying to really kind of stretch that out more to the 100.
The 100, okay. There and back. That's endurance a lot of times.
But I mean, I love swimming fly, 100 IM. I've missed the 100 IM national record by a couple hundredths a couple times. So, you know, just having little goals within your age group to try to go for. I probably won't be doing anything over 200. So
if you had to rank order your favorite events, short course or long course, so what are your top 3 events, if you like just favorite events?
Well, 50 fly long course.
50 fly long course is number 1, okay.
And then 50 free,
Long course or short course?
Short course.
Short course meters or short course yards?
We'll say meters.
Meters, okay. So long course 50 fly, short course meters 50 free. And then what's the third event?
100 free short course.
100 free short course. Okay. Awesome.
So, which I was really bummed in Indiana. We had so at Masters Nationals we only got to swim 5 out of the 6 events.
Oh yeah, they dropped the 6th event.
My 6th event was the 100 free. So I guess I'm kind of feeling like
so maybe next
time,
short course.
So, but I have the 100 free tomorrow. So
100 free tomorrow. And what else are you swimming? So you have the 200 back, 100 free,
50 fly,
50 fly,
and 100 back.
And 100 back, and we just did the 50
We
freestyle.
did, yes.
And what is your advice, kind of wrapping up here, for people who've never been to a meet like this, whether it's international Pan Ams or Worlds by FINA or U.S. Nationals? They want to, but they're intimidated. So what advice do you have for people who have never been to something like this?
So what I would recommend is to sign up for as many meets as you can locally, and just first kind of get some experience getting used to just getting on the blocks and going fast and racing, because when you're in practice and when you're in a meet, it's a completely different mindset. I mean, you just have to get that muscle memory, going for your races. So when you feel comfortable, going through those local meets, then there are all different skill types at these meets. I mean, it is not like when you think about when qualifying for senior nationals and you had a qualifying time that you had that was at an elite level. It's really a very welcoming family environment, extremely supportive.
There's no qualifying time.
No qualifying times, and we have so much fun.
Yeah.
So don't be intimidated. It's just a lot of fun, and Masters is a great sport, and it actually creates an incredible longevity. I think the people here are a true testament to that. When you see these amazing older athletes in their 80s and their 90s still swimming, still having fun, and you never would know that they were in their 90s. So it's impressive.
Swimming is the sport you can do
absolutely
your entire life.
That's right.
That's amazing. Erika, thank you so much for joining us on the AskASwimPro show. Until next time, we are here live at the Pan American Masters Championships in Orlando, Florida, at the beautiful YMCA Aquatic Center. We're signing off. We'll catch you guys later. Bye.